Hey, Chase. Yo, nice hat, man.
Yeah, I
You look
just
kind of like
realized
me.
too. I didn't realize we were both wearing white hats till right now.
Hey, welcome back everyone to the Diamond Download. This is gonna be a good one, bro. I'm excited. I brought a notepad with me, but not for the reason you think.
Why'd you bring it?
Well, I'll tell you in a sec. How was your weekend?
Weekend was really good. My brother Carson had his birthday, so went from Orange County to San Diego to golf, and it was great. So golfed on Saturday. Sunday, we went to like this place that I grew up going to as a kid. It was like this roller skate, this like roller rink, kind of skate park type thing.
Mhm.
One of the neighbors had a birthday party, and we took Shay. We taught her how to like rollerblade. It was so cool, and I had like a bunch of like flashbacks to like when I went there in high school, middle school, college, elementary school. So it was sick.
Dude, that's super sick. So Shay was getting up there. She was ripping around.
Yeah, it was a challenge for a 4 year old, but she did pretty well, all things considered.
Dude, so in Canada, I mean, we don't really have roller rinks. We just have ice skates. So we when I was 4, I learned how to skate, and they had this thing called a skating buddy. And so they put the skates on you, but like, dude, it's a blade like that. Like for a 4-year-old to like get around on skates, like it's tough. And so it was like this plastic little thing that would kind of just glide on the ice with
Yeah.
you. It's like a walker, but for people that don't know how to skate. And so that was like, I would go with my dad all the time because my dad played hockey, and then I learned how to skate, and then I got wicked. So like in 2 years, 3 years, I have a feeling if you just get Shay, keep her on the not the field or the court, what would it be? On the rink,
The
I guess.
rink? Yeah.
Yeah, keep her on the rink, and you will watch her turn into a demon, bro.
Okay, sick. Yeah, it was fun. What about yourself? How was yours?
So I had, I mean, two main things sort of characterized my weekend. So number one, I've just been crushing Love Island USA, crushing
Same.
it.
It's
Nope,
great.
no way, really,
Yeah. I haven't
dude.
liked any of the USA ones in the past, but this one was really good.
Don't tell me anything because I'm behind, way
Okay.
behind. That's why I've been watching so much to catch up. I'm on like episode 19 or something like that.
Well, I'm right about the same. I'm not like in real time. We're behind. We just got to Casa Amor, is basically where we started watching.
Yes, exactly. That's what I did last night. I was
Okay.
literally up until 4 a.m. watching it with my girlfriend.
How lame are we?
And dude, are you kidding? This is the greatest. This is why we do what we do. If we had jobs, we wouldn't be able to stay up until 4 a.m. We'd have to wake up at the crack of ass and go and clock into our job. We get to work whenever we want, and that means watching as much Love Island as we can possibly fit into our schedules.
Okay, your
The
weekend was off
other
to a good
thing,
start. What was the second one?
this other thing was I went to the Jeremy Haynes Mastermind, and I've talked about Jeremy Haynes before. For anyone who remembers, I sort of did like a really butchered cursory overview of his ad strategy, which is
Oh,
called the
the
tornado ad
tornado. Yeah,
strategy.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so he's like, just for anyone who missed that episode, he's like not a famous media buyer, but like he's about as famous as you can get as just a media buyer, agency owner. Really, really good marketer, advertiser. Been around for a long time. Used to work with Grant Cardone. Used to work with Dan Coe, or not Dan Coe,
Uh,
dude,
Dan.
Dan Locke.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
always do this. Dan Locke. And so he does a mastermind. Usually they're really big. So usually there's like 75 people just crammed into his living room, his big living room in like West Miami kind of thing. But this time it was just a little one. And I actually did a talk at that.
Sick.
I don't know when the footage is gonna come out, but it was about like basically just organic webbies. But the one before mine was Jeremy talking, and he made us do goal math. And so this is a concept that I think that more people should be doing. And it's like it's not necessarily hard to do, and it's not something that like no one knows how to do. It's just that you forget to do it and you forget that business is math. And like it might be a little bit different for you because like you're not trying to hyperscale any businesses right now. Like you're kind of just like you're the equivalent of like one of those 75-year-old dudes in West Palm Beach who just like drives around in a golf cart, like goes to the market, gets himself a croissant, and then goes and plays nine. You know what I mean? But like everyone in that room, we were all at like different levels of business at that point. And it was kind of just cool to see like how people did math. So like it was like agency owners who were only at like 20, 30K a month. And then I think there was one dude who was probably like doing 7 or 800K,
Nice.
like really crushing it. And he's been around for a while and you probably know who he is. But um, so the thing with the goal math, and this is why I had a notepad right here. It's really scratched up. But he goes, okay, like go and pick your dream number, like the number that you want to be making per month in revenue. Figure out what that number is. And so we write it down on a piece of paper. And so mine was, I'll share it. It was 1.5 million a month. I think
Okay.
that's
I was
like
gonna guess that.
Yeah, yeah. It's like kind of where like I would love to be in the next like little bit. And then he goes, "What's your average cash collected for like per customer? Not like payment plans, like not what the price of the actual thing is or contract value. Like what is the average cash collected per month?" And so a lot of the agency guys are kind of like doing the math because like some of them have rev share and some of them were trying. Mine was easy, so mine was like I don't know, it was a number. And then he said, "All right, so divide the monthly number divided by how much cash you collect, and that number is how many students you have to onboard or clients or whatever into your business every single month to hit that number." And I looked at it, and the number was 430 students, new students per month. And
To
then
get
he goes,
from where you are to where you want to be, basically like the difference, like where
"No,
you
that's
are
the
now.
to hit 1.5, it has to be 430 people every single month."
Okay.
And he goes, "All right, so everyone like raise your hand if you think that's realistic." And it was me and one other dude. And then because he knows who I am kind of, and like he kind of put me on like or on the spot, and he was like asking me questions like about close rate and show rate and cost per call, and then like how much we're currently spending on ads and how much we'd be comfortable spending on ads, and then trying to basically reverse engineer like how to get that now. Because he was like, "Where's most of your traffic coming from?" I was like, "Organic." He's like, "Okay, so like for you to make that up, like you'd have to do basically all ads, correct?" And I was like, um, well, technically, yeah, I guess. Like, and but I was like, well, I could do more organic. I could probably do better than like I'm working on it. And he was like, yeah, but you're not doing that. Let's figure out how like we could literally do this tomorrow if you want to do it. Not like hopefully maybe your organic gets really good. And I was like, huh, okay, that's an interesting thought because a lot of times, and I'm guilty of this all the time, is I try and like fix problems with like, oh well, if this works out and this video pops and like TikToks do really well, this like then I'll do really well. But that's a terrible way to go about business.
Yeah.
You have to solve problems in real time. And so I was like, that's a great fucking mindset shift to have. And then we were just going through the numbers, and he said basically like where I'm at now, I would only have to spend 160 grand a month on ads to get to this number. And I was like, that seems so attainable. Why am I not doing this? And so it's sort of like every time I go here, bro, because this is my second mastermind with him. The first one that I went to was in April or March or something. And I was just thinking, like, dude, this is such a good thing to think about. Like, this is such a good way to like sort of spend my time thinking about business instead of just like too in the weeds. Cause like, dude, like literally I spend most of my time thinking like what kind of reel should I post today so I can get a bunch of views? Like such a waste of time for the most part thing to think about. And like it's kind of just reminded me like number one, everyone should be doing like goal math to figure out how far away they are from like where they need to be. And two, I should be going way more high level on the stuff that I'm working on day to day because a lot of the stuff I do is kind of just non ROI, just kind of BS, you know?
It's interesting. It's like the way that I interpret it as, if I do this, if I do that, it's like you're playing like the game of what ifs, and it's like, well, get rid of like the what if and get rid of like the probability that a video will or won't hit. And it's just like make really great content, boost the heck out of that content with ads, make sure obviously like that you convert what you're supposed to convert. And it's like, well, there you go. There's the path.
Exactly. And I thought that was really interesting. And
That's cool.
yeah, dude, he's awesome. Like Jeremy Haynes is like honestly, dude, I feel like you should be in that. I know like he does a lot of meetups in Florida, so it's all like usually Florida guys. Like it's very rare that someone will like fly in.
Yeah.
But like it's a Telegram chat and it's course content, and like I feel like it would maybe change your mindset on like what you're working on. Like it would definitely help with the LinkedIn thing.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like relatively cheap. Like it's not like a crazy like 20K a month mastermind. Like some people pay for that. Like it's like 2 grand a month. Like I have no
Nice.
problem paying for that.
Yeah. How about, by the way, he
Um,
commented on the video where we were speaking about him. I don't know how he saw it or whatnot, but he actually left a comment on that video a month or two ago. He's like, thanks, Mason, for the shout out. Or I don't remember what he said, but he left a comment on the
yeah.
video where we talked about him.
He also messaged me in Telegram. Dude, he's just tapped in. Like he's just watching everything like a hawk. He knows the info industry really well. Like he knows everything that's going on.
That's sick.
Um, and like, dude, like it's not even just like he sits back and teaches it now. Like he's still doing it. Like he's still got an agency. That's where he makes all of his money pretty much.
That's dope.
And so like people really respect him. He signed a client recently, where his billables are like 200,000 a month or something like that. Like it's something crazy because it's all rev share stuff and he's just so good at what he does.
Damn. So he's
Um,
got to be making them mid to high seven figures a month.
yeah, exactly.
Nice.
So
Nice.
very cool. So the second top is sorry. Before we move on, is there anything else you want to add on to that?
No, that's great. Yeah, it really
Okay.
gets you thinking like you're just changing the what ifs to like I'm gonna do this because this is gonna get this outcome. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, man. Second one related is the power of in person. And then in brackets, I have should we start running meetups? And so I know we've kind of talked about this before, but I'm like sort of opening my mind to it more where it's like, I really do think that in person is like such a such a hack. Okay, so I thought of this number one because of Jeremy's thing. Number two, because my girl sometimes has like business ideas for me. And like it's really funny because like a lot of times like it's an idea for me to like give her money. And so like she'll say that she'll be like, I have a business idea. And it's usually like we make a trade where it's like, if I do this, will you? But what she had she was like, I was like, what is it? She's like, I'll tell you over dinner. I'm like, this must be juicy. And like her ideas, she's really good because like she's like really like locked into like what's happening like on the internet. And
Okay.
I'm like, even though I'm on the internet, like I should know more, but I don't. So Alex Earl apparently had this. She has a podcast. You know that, right? You know
No,
Alex Earl?
I know of her just because she went crazy viral, but I don't know much about her.
Okay, so she's still crazy viral, and she has a podcast. And I guess to try and get some revenue going, she got this crazy yacht, like crazy, really like massive, like 200-footer in
Wow.
Miami, and said she was going to do like a live podcast plus meetup VIP sort of thing, um, on a boat for like all of her followers. And she was selling tickets for like racks. I can't remember if it was like a grand or 3 grand or 5 grand. It was one, they're probably tiers, but bro, and everyone like Ala was thinking like my girl, she was like, I was thinking no one's gonna buy that. Like so expensive, but like it's sold out in minutes. And like I
Wow.
really think there's like a strong desire to like meet people in person. For on like the fan side, I think it like even if you're not even selling it, I think meeting Chase Diamond in person in the flesh makes people way more likely to like buy stuff if you are going to go that route with it. Like even if you're not making a pitch there and then, the fact that they met you and they talk to you and they know you and trust you, like the next
Yeah.
time you have a thing, like they're going to buy it. Another example is like I just got an email from the Client Ascension boys that they're running their annual sort of mastermind thing in Tampa again in October, and I'm thinking like I'm probably going to go to that. Like
Yeah.
I've been in that for like 3 years now, so there's not a ton that I guess would learn new, but I just like being around them. It's cool. I like being in that energy, just around a bunch of entrepreneurs. Like, what's your opinion on meetups and masterminds?
Yeah, I like it. With the Alex Earl thing, I gotta imagine, right? Like people wanted to pay to have the, well, obviously to meet her, but they wanted to be able to say they met her, right? I think meeting her is probably cool, right? Like I don't really know much about her. I'm sure she's cool, but just being able to have the story and create the content on the yacht, with her is probably like worth even more to them, right? So I think that's cool. That
100%.
makes sense. I'm curious, like who went to that? Was it other influencers that like want to pick her brain and they're almost using it as like a mini consulting session in their mind? Is it just a bunch of dudes that think she's nice looking? Like I'm curious, like who bought that, right? Um, do you have any idea of like who was there?
Well, I mean, her fan base is mostly female.
Just
Like,
a female.
yeah, I'm sure there's guys that think she's hot, but they would never give her money. I think like, dude, you would be shocked at how like what kind of grip these like girl influencers have on society right now. It's crazy. There's like cult followings of people that have like less followers than I have on TikTok. Like, but girls that just would die for these influencers for no reason. Like, they don't say anything. They're not helping them anyway. It's not like they're like growing their LinkedIn or they're helping them on copywriting or something like that. It's just they do get ready with me and they're doing their makeup and they're just talking about like a date they went on last night and they're just like, I need to be friends with this girl. It's insane. It makes no sense. So I'm imagining it was mostly girls like that on the boat. I'm sure there was
Interesting.
a couple of influencers. I thought that that's what Aloe was going to tell me to do. Basically, just like
Pay
buy
for
a
her feet.
ticket.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I thought she was going to say, well, actually, that would be funny. But I thought she was going to say, like, me buy a ticket and then try and get on the podcast.
Oh my
Because, like,
god.
that would be great.
No
But
bad
apparently
idea.
I'm not famous enough. That's what I've been told so far is that I'm just not famous enough to be on the podcast. I guess Alex wouldn't take me. I could
Yeah.
pay a fee. I feel like if you pay like 50 grand, 60 grand, I could at least get a conversation in there. You know, what I mean, I could open it and then I could close her.
That's funny.
Um,
So Nick actually this coming weekend is doing a little mini kind of boys trip mastermind type thing. There's 8 of them going. They're going out to Palm Springs for the weekend. They're going to stay at like 2 places and they're doing like 2 golf rounds. I think I was like his first call to do it. And like, bro, I got a family. I know you have a family, Nick, too. You got a little baby, but it's a little easier for him to get out. So he's actually doing that. I don't think he's making any money. I think it's just like him and another guy organized it with just like other agencies to kind of like just
mhm.
knowledge share, mind share. I think
Yeah.
everyone's probably just paying their own flights, splitting the cost of the place and kind of paying for their own golf. So he's just doing it as a way to kind of like network. I think that stuff's cool. Like I'd love to go golfing with folks that are like minded and interesting. Um,
You said it's a
have,
boys trip.
Nick's doing the boys trip. There's 8 guys that all own agencies going to Palm
Do you
Springs.
know do you know that woman on Twitter who just like anytime there's like an all male D2C event just loses it for a couple of days?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
I bet she had a field day. If I go like she
It's
blocked me,
coming
but if
up.
I go on my
It's
fake
coming
account,
up. Nick hasn't done it yet, so he hasn't got roasted yet, but he will.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, we're recording again. Oh shit. Okay. I just want. Is it still recording?
Yeah, yeah, it's recording.
Are you sure? Okay. Sorry. Yeah. No. On my end, it just went out, so I wanted to make sure.
Okay.
Um. Anyway, yeah, I was gonna say, dude, poor Nick Sharma. I think one time just got absolutely blasted. In a tweet or something like that, just for something like that. But anyway, I'm
I
glad he's
think
doing
when
this
certain
trip.
events lend themselves, right? Like I think every event where like there's a lot of people or whatever it is, like there should be men and women. I think something like this, it's like it's a boys trip. They're staying in 2 houses. Like I don't know if it's like right. It's just guys. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I think like other events, talks or whatever it might be. Like I think obviously having representation of both is important, but um, I like it. I don't know that like me traveling at this point to go to something like this makes a lot of sense. But if we could do it locally, where like I could still have like my family life and also something like this during the day, I'm for it. So I think there's nothing that beats being in person. Just
Mhm.
the rapport that you build and just the ability to like really connect beyond the surface is super important. So I'm bullish on this. I want to do more. Probably will do more of these when my kids are in school and I can have a little bit more time to do things.
Here's an idea. And by the way, my mic did go out. Can you still hear me all right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Would you be down to do a Cardinal Mason Chase Diamond mixer where we have like a collection? It's a dual event, and I'd be
Yeah.
happy to be in California so you don't have to go too far from home. But I would love to see my audience and your audience interact with each other in the same room. It would be hilarious, bro. Because it would be all these like executives who are worth like 8, 9, 10 figures who have like built successful companies and love your content on LinkedIn because you like give helpful stuff, and a bunch of 16-year-old like children who like pull up in their like in like a rented Lambo because they made a couple bucks from copywriting, and they're just like little bro. And I would love to see how that would go. I'm very curious because it's just so different. But I feel like if we did a live podcast, your people would show up, my people would show up. I feel like we'd have like the room divided. Remember like a middle school dance where it's like the guys are over here, the
The girls.
girls.
Yeah, yeah,
Not.
yeah.
That's exactly what it would be like. But if we just like rent a space together and like pack it out and have a pizza party, it'd be amazing.
Dude, let's do it. Yeah, it'd be sick to rent like a nice Airbnb or a nice venue and just invite everyone. That'd be fun. That'd be a lot of fun. I'm down.
All right,
I'm
cool.
actually down.
Are you actually down?
Legitimately, like I'm down. Let's do something local and I'm in.
Okay, cool. All right. Last one.
Let's do it.
So I put this down. I can't remember why I put this down because I wrote this morning, but it was what's one thing you've been putting off that you know would help you immensely in biz or in life? So,
Yeah, I
like,
got a good one.
you got one? Just
Yeah.
something that, like, is just so important that, like, it's not urgent, but it's really important that you just haven't been doing, even though you should.
One that I've thought about doing for a long time, and I need to do this, is I'd love to work with like a public speaking coach. And here I can't even talk when I say that. I love to work with like someone that is great at giving pointers and feedback and training, regardless of like the audience. I've got some, uh, you know, probably best man, groomsman type speeches coming up, right? Or some toasts coming up, whether it's my brothers or some of my friends that are getting married in the next few years, right? So like in that setting, all the way to, we obviously do this podcast, to I do a lot of virtual events, and even like some in-person events, right? Like I'm speaking at Jimmy's Commerce Roundtable in September in San Diego. So like this is one that I've wanted to get better at for a long time. I am fantastic one-on-one in small groups, etc. But in large groups, on courses, on things like that, I know I have a lot of opportunity to improve. I talk really fast. I probably got to slow down, be a little bit more clear. I think I could benefit a lot from working with like a consultant or speaking coach, because we literally talk for a living at this point, right? We write and we talk for a living. So that was one that like I've been neglecting for a long time, that if I had done already, I think I'd be way further ahead in life.
Damn, you really think so?
Yeah. Bro, I think the ability to communicate, like when I think about like even you, right? Like, I was with obviously someone's crew a few weeks ago filming. When I study like the people that are crushing it on video and the people that are doing really, really well, it's people like yourself. You're really entertaining, you're really well spoken. And again, maybe your voice isn't as professional as someone else's, but your voice is perfect for your audience, and I think you do it intentionally. So I think just being able to have the voice that meets the audience. So for me, it might be a little bit more professional, but still like you understand your audience and your voice is perfect for them. So I really do believe that like being able to communicate well, just like being able to write well, like is a huge game changer.
Okay. I think it's a great one. To be totally honest, I've never thought you had an issue with public speaking. Um,
I think
I
I'm
mean,
decent to good, but I want to be great. Like I think being great is like it's not my sphere right now. I'm not great at it. I'm decent to good. And I think being great, like I don't think you can tell when someone's decent to good. I think it's like, all right, yeah, I don't think you have any issues. Like when someone's great, I think that really, or someone's terrible, that really stands out. I think I'm somewhere like awkwardly in the middle where I can get by.
I think here's my thoughts on that. You have maybe you don't think you're a good public speaker. Maybe you think you're like a 5.5 out of 10 public speaker. What carries you is that you have good content. So like it doesn't matter what we're presenting. Remember when you did the email talk from a couple months ago
Yeah.
and everyone just went like batshit over it? They just loved it
Yeah.
so much. You did it again. You literally had an encore. Like no one ever in the history of time has ever done a presentation on email marketing and then the audience said, "Do it again, encore." Like
Yeah.
you're the Bruce Springsteen of email marketing at this point.
Thanks, man.
And so that's number one.
Appreciate that.
Second of all, I think like this is probably something I don't know if you need to pay anybody, bro. I feel like you could probably just go back and watch Obama's speeches from like 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
Just like, dude, so here's what I know about public speaking. Project your voice because I used to get yelled at all the time when I was in middle school and I would be doing a presentation. I would be talking like really low like this. And the teacher would be in the back of the room, be like, I can't hear you. And so I would start to project a little bit more and I'd be like, this is why I believe it. I use your hands more. But the politician thing that I love so much, and I learned this, I can't remember when, but it was a long time ago. So you notice how they do a very specific like hand movement to like get a point across. This is something that would take you from like 5.5 to 10 right here. You don't even
Okay.
have to change anything else. But like you have like they tell you not to do this, like a finger wagging thing, because it feels like you're lecturing. They tell you not to do this thing because I don't remember why. Maybe it's like I think it's like a hate symbol or something like
Okay.
that. So I'm not do it anymore. They do this like when they're saying that they're like that's the thing they do. They're driving the point home.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Well, like they're pushing the point towards the audience. And I think it's a very positive thing. You can also do this, the Tate hands, how Tate will just like sit there and talk like that.
Yeah.
You could do that. Um, have you tried picturing everyone in their underwear?
No, no, no.
You
I've heard
haven't?
of that. I've never actually tried it. There's some people it's probably better not to picture that way, but that's besides the point.
Yeah. Um, yeah, you can be selective about it. You just picture certain people. Yeah. Row 31C underwear. Anyway, I think it's a solid one. Like I said, I think you don't really have much to worry about, but I respect it and I support it, and I can't wait to see your transformation.
Yeah, and my daughter Shay is in speech, obviously different, not for public speaking, just for being able to speak, more clear and pronounce certain things. And just seeing like her transformations like been really eye-opening. Like her not being able to say certain words, and now like her every week someone comes to her house and like works with her, and just seeing like the transformation in the couple months, it's been really impressive. So I don't know. I guess I'm just learning from her and kind of inspired by like what she's been able to do.
You should get her to tutor you.
Yeah, eventually. Eventually. What about you?
In here.
What
Teach
about
me
you?
what to do right now.
Yeah, I'll have to ask her for some lessons after. I hadn't considered that. But what about you? Like, what would you say this answer is for you?
Oh, mine's like way less inspiring. I was just saying like so about the you remember we talked last week about how like the guy that you're working with wants everything to be beautiful just for the
Yeah,
sake of being beautiful.
yeah,
I know that I have to go through, bro. Every VSL except for the main one is like really shoddily done. Like I have on all the low ticket pages, I have just like it's me on Loom reading off a script. And like the course content is mostly me just like it was in my old house, like from 2.5 years ago. Um, like just same sort of thing, just like buzzing off Google Docs.
yeah,
And I think that it's time for me to do like an overhaul and just like redo everything and just like every VSL that I have, everything that we're running traffic to, just like spend a day and just knock it all out and just make it really well done and well shot.
yes,
There's a lot of content stuff. So like I know I have to like go with my boy Jonathan, who's like my new videographer, and just go and shoot for a weekend and just get all kinds of cool clips of me doing cool stuff,
yeah,
so that I can remake it into reels and stuff, and like add make it B-roll or just whatever.
yeah,
Don't have enough footage, and it's not a result of me being too busy. It's just like what happens is, and this used to happen all the time when I was working with the agency on YouTube. They would say like, all right, we're gonna shoot Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Let's just bang in a couple videos. And like I would just like at 6:50, I just be like, bro, I hope they cancel. Like I really hope they can't come today. Cause I just didn't want to do it. But like
yeah.
I have to change my mindset about that and sort of just bite the bullet and just like do content.
Yeah, dude, with the business that you're in and what you're trying to do, the organic and the paid stuff, like you have to become a content machine and you already are. But I love the fact that you're inspired to just like bring it up a notch. And I think some of the stuff that you've done, the way that you've done is actually probably the best way. I think the way that you've done TikToks, that's like the best way to do it. But I think some of the VSLs, some of the other stuff, some of the trainings, doing it a little bit differently, I think would be huge. It just,
Yeah.
especially with the price points that you're charging and kind of the audience that you want to attract, like I think not I don't know if premium is the right word, but I guess just elevated. Not that the stuff's
Yeah.
bad, but just how do you make it better?
Yeah, like okay, so I actually got a piece of feedback on this. And
Okay.
so this is a long time ago. I only saw this video recently because someone sent it to me, but it was a student of mine from the inner circle who gave a review on the product. And usually when people do reviews, they're not like no one's ever really inspired to do like a positive review unprompted unless they're being like paid or something. So I'm watching this thing and I'm thinking like, what is she gonna say? And so she goes through and she talks about like how like the content's great. She's getting results. It's daily coaching calls. It's like really supportive. Like all the coaches are amazing. Like it's great. But the actual course itself, she said, was like a 4 or 5 out of 10 because she was comparing it to this like affiliate marketing course. It's not like the actual content, it's just the way it's presented. And I never thought about that, where it's like I could probably make the the way the course is delivered more premium, right? Like
Yep.
more maybe gamified or just like better in some way. Um, and I feel like if this is a business that we're gonna run up to like multi 8 figures, which I know we will,
Yeah.
like maybe that's something I should invest in now before we dump 2 million in ads across the next year,
Yeah.
to like get another few thousand people in. So I don't know. This has been on my mind, and I think that's like one of the things that I would change. Other than that, bro, I've been pretty on top of it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. It's really like I guess for lack of a better word, it's just like the optics, right? Like how things are kind of pieced together and perceived. And I actually learned a little bit about that through the course that I built, where I initially had I think it was like 5 modules, right? And each module was going to be like an hour or two long. And then they made me chop it up where it's like have more modules and then smaller videos per module. So it's like there's like 7 modules and each mod or there's 7 sections and each section would have 3 to 5 modules versus like, so just like the way it's perceived on paper, it's important. And then when they first interact, like what's the first impression? And it's like the content's great, the value is there, and then it also actually is perceived to be high value. It's like that's the trifecta.
Hmm. Actually, you know who does this really well? Do you know who Charlie Morgan is?
Charlie Morgan? No.
Dude, he's a killer. I was
Okay.
at lunch It was actually kind of funny. So I was supposed to go get lunch with Ben a couple days ago, and he was like, "I have a one-on-one, so let's go after the one-on-one." And I was like, "Cool," because it's for his new thing where it's like he's talking to random students.
Okay.
And then he was like, "Actually, we're not gonna do the one-on-one over Zoom. We're just gonna do it at this lunch spot. So do you want to come and like meet this kid?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." This 19-year-old savage who like started his agency 6 months ago, doing something similar to what Ben's doing, like info kind of thing.
Okay.
Scaled to like 12 clients on RevShare. He's got like 2 VAs or something like that, and he's just ripping, like getting results and everything. He went through Charlie Morgan's thing, and he said the same thing. He was like, "Dude, this course, like the content's great, yeah, but it's so premium. Like it's so well done." Apparently, this like these videos, and I haven't seen it, but this is what I've heard. It's like each module is like an hour or two long because it's so in depth, like the stuff he's teaching. And
Okay.
there's like 20 of those. Like really like a ton of content. Probably took him forever to make.
Yeah.
Um, but I was just like, huh, okay. And that's the stuff that like gets people to like share and refer business. You know what I mean? Like I might join Charlie Morgan's thing now.
Just to
Number one, I
see.
want to see like how his funnel works because like I know he's doing like a couple like probably $1 million a month now. And
Wow.
also just to like see what it's like. Maybe I'll learn something too.
Heck yeah. Bro, this was a great episode. Great pod.
I agree, man. Hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in to the Diamond Download. Hope you learned something. I'll see you at our in-person mastermind where my audience and Chase's audience can mix and talk business.
Heck yeah. Looking forward to it. Cheers,
All
man.
right. Well, next week. Bye.